which most of our friends have been providing, which was wonderful. But here, because my time criteria was less, I had made it all my notes based on the book. So your expectation and my expectations differed. So that is what is the expectation. Next one, please. So what are perceptual sets? I hope you guys are with me and you are able to make out where I'm reading. Am I going too fast?
Not really, Pooja.
No,
You
ma'am.
continue.
Exactly. Going good, ma'am.
We are with you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Because all are from the book, I didn't have time to work out and work separately. So I'm taking it everything from the book. So moving on with perceptual sets. So in this, we have the readiness to notice and respond to a certain stimuli. For example, a new mother, as I told you in the starting, no, that was different. In this, perceptual set is when a particular set pattern makes a set. For example, a new mother, the conscious mind of a new mother is always focused on the cry of the baby. Hearing the baby's cry is staying for a little longer comparing to the other people. That is why she can unknowingly or unconsciously while the baby might be sleeping peacefully. Next comes as the cultural influence or on perception. So here you can see there are three names: chicken, cow, and grass. So when these three names were given to the Americans, they correlated as chicken and cow. They correlated with chicken and cow, thinking that both of them are belonging to the food category. So they made it together. Whereas when the same names were given to the Chinese, they categorized it as cow and grass. So it was their cultural influence which made them to categorize these two categories in one. Next comes as Panzo's illusion. So in this, you can see, if you see these road, if you see this particular figure in the right hand side corner bottom, you will see that it is, how does it look like? Can you tell me how does it look like?
It looks like a ladder.
Yeah, okay, ladder. It can be
Narrow,
a road,
narrow road.
narrow road, yes, yes. And what do you think the lines, the top line and the bottom line, do you think they are smaller and bigger?
Yes,
Uh,
looks like
yeah.
It
One
looks
is
like
like
smaller one.
wider, the other one is like narrow.
Yeah, correct. So it is that this is what is Paslow's illusion. The illusion is, if you take a scale or if you take a measuring thing, you can measure it and you can make out that both the lines, the horizontal lines are exactly of the same length. Is far to us. That is why it gives an illusion to us that one is smaller, one is bigger. Some of you, if you have attended the class of Sangeeta ma'am, she had shown one figure where there was a tribe and there was one elephant at the back and the child was in the front. So the figure looked like as if the elephant is running behind the child. But when we observed it closely, the elephant was far away. It is just the mother and the child who were next to each other. So this is what is basically illusion. Next one. Yeah. So next comes as a perceptual constancy. What is constancy? Constancy means something that remains same or stable or unchangeable. It derives from the word constant, like a wheel of the car goes constantly, then only the car moves. So that is what is constancy. In constancy, there are three categories. One is the size constancy, which is a tendency to perceive object as always being of same size, no matter how far or closer they are, which you just observed looking at the ladder or looking at a path or whatever you were mentioning in the previous slide, the one which I showed you. So that is what is a size constancy. Next comes is the shape constancy. Tendency to perceive object as remaining the same shares every shares even when the shape or size changes on the retina. I think I have a figure. I loaded one figure in this. One second. No, it's not there. Sorry about it. Yeah, sorry about it. So yeah, so the shape constancy is tendency to perceive object as remaining the same shape even when the shape of the object changes on the retina. Can anybody give me an example for this? Yeah, for example, a door. When we open a door, the door look like it's open. When we see a door, when it looks like in a rectangular shape, right? Even when it is open or it is closed, it is the frame of the door. Forget about the frame of the door. When you open the door of any room or a bathroom, it looks like in a rectangular shape. But when you open the door, the figure of the door moves, but the size and the shape does not move. That is what is called as the shape constancy. Next comes as the brightness constancy, which has the tendency to perceive the object at the certain level of brightness. In this, the example is when we see the sunlight. So in the sunlight, the color white is more, right? Because of the sunlight, we see that there is too much of white. It is because of the brightness of the sun. So that is what is called the brightness constancy. Based on that, our eye retina will contrast or squeeze according to the brightness of the sunlight or brightness of the color. Next one. Next comes as the depth perception. Depth perception is the ability to see an object in three-dimensional, like a 3D image. Like a 3D image. So it develops at early age, that is at infancy. When the infant is born, it is developed at that time. There are various cues or perceiving depth in the world. Some requires one eye, like monocular, and some are result of apparatus when used both the eyes, which is binocular. When we talk about monocular cues, using only one eye, like when we see from one single binocular, to see that properly, we need to close one eye, right? That is what is called monocular cues. And the other, the binocular cues is when we see something with both the eyes. So in this, there are linear perspectives. So parallel lines seems to convey in the distance. The farther they are away, like for example, you are going on the straight road. At somewhere at the end of the road, you feel that the road is joining together, whereas the road is straight. But because of our illusion, it gives us an image as if the line or the road is meeting together. Both the sides of the road is meeting together. So that is what is linear perspective. Next one. Relative size. Relative size is when we know actual size of an object. For example, an elephant. It's quite easy for us to gauge or distance from it. Our familiarities with objects allows us to determine how far away they are. For example, it is used basically in movies. They use all these visual effects, which gives us an feeling that the size or shape of a particular thing is huge. If you have seen this movie, what was that movie? Visual. There was a lot of visual effects in that. Can anybody name me a movie which has a lot of visual
Robo,
effects?
ma'am.
Yeah,
Robo
Robo.
in the.
Correct. Yes, yes. So in that there were small, whereas actually the objects will be very small. But they, with this particular technique, they make the images huge so that it gives an impression to the viewers that the object on the screen is big. Next comes is the overlap. Overlap is like it describes when an object partially block part of one another. It's an object block part of another, then we know that it is in closure to us. For example, what example can I give? Can somebody suggest me any example of closure? Sorry, this over, right? For example, a mountain or a building. When we look it from a very long distance, it looks like very fuzzy, or the picture looks very blurry. But the same thing when we go closer, it looks very clear. So that is what is a atmospheric or aerial perspective. Next comes as a texture gradient. It refers to the amount of details we can see on an object. When an object is close to us, we are able to see the texture and details more easily. For example, when you buy clothes or any cloth material online, we don't know the texture of it. But at times it looks very good on screen, but when the same product comes home and delivered, you will figure out that the texture of the object or the cloth is not good. So that is what is a texture gradient. It looks so impressive, but the end result might not be that satisfying. Next one. Next comes as the motion parallax. What is motion parallax? It describes the way in which stationary objects appears to move at different speeds against a background when the observer is moving. For example, while driving a car, we are looking outside and we feel that the tree is moving. Most now we are all adults, we know the tree can't move. But yeah, if you ask a child, they will always say that, yeah, why mama, the moon is moving. Whereas the moon is not moving, it's the car or the vehicle which is moving. But it gives us an impression that the object outside are also moving. So that is what is a motion parallax. Next comes as the accommodation. Our our culinary muscles are used to change the shape of the eyes lenses so that we can focus on object at varying distance. Accommodation refers to the object of work that our eye muscles have to do to focus on an object. For example, when we are looking at an object up close, our muscles contrast. For example, when we try to figure out where is the star, we try to contrast our eye lenses and we try to figure out where is the star twinkling. So that is what, so we accommodate our eyes according to the distance and the size of the object. Next one. Yeah, as I was telling you, talking to you about binocular cues, It requires the use of two eyes, as I told you earlier. So in this we have convergency, rotation of two eyes in their socket to focus on a single object. If object close, convergency is great, and if far, much less. For example, a finger. If you put a finger close to your nose, it looks like it is close to the nose. No, if you close one eye and put a finger on your nose, you feel that the finger is close to the nose. But when you open your eyes, the same finger, you will feel that it is little far. That is what is a convergence. Next comes as binocular disparity. Scientific ways is, since the eyes are a few inches apart, they don't see exactly the same object. The brain interprets the image on retina to determine the distance from the eye if two images are different. Different objects is close and is identical. So when we see two different things, they, like we have certain games like find out the difference. I hope you guys have played that game where you have two pictures and you need to find out the differences between two pictures. Though the figure broadly looks the same, but there are some minute differences in that. So that is what, yeah, good. So that is what is called binocular disparity. Next comes as perceptual illusion. Illusion is basically fooling yourself, fooling your eyes in visualizing something. The eyes are fooling you. That does not correspond to the reality. It is visual stimuli that fools the eyes. So it's different from hallucination. In hallucination, what happens is it is distorted perception of something which is really there. But a hallucination is organized in the brain which is not real. So do not misunderstand between hallucination and illusion. Illusions are something which are actually there, whereas hallucination is something which is created by our brain and which is not real. Next one. So we come to the last topic of this chapter. This is Muller layer illusion. So in illusion, we have three types of illusion. First is the Muller layer. The first figure you can see, it is an optical illusion where two lines of the same length appears to be different length. If you measure, actually all the lines are equal. The above picture, if you see, it looks like the arrow which is inverted, it is smaller, and extended, it's longer. Whereas the red line, if you see, all the length of three lines are same. Next comes as moon illusion. The moon illusion is an optional phenomena where the moon appears larger than the horizon when it is higher in the sky. So when it is higher in the sky, it is larger. And no, it is smaller. When it is coming down to the horizon, it looks bigger. It looks like as if just across this cliff in the picture you can see, across the cliff is the moon, whereas it is far, far away. And the last one is illusion of motion. It refers to the phenomena where a strategic image appears to be moving due to cognitive effect of intersecting color, contrast, object, shapes, and position. So this is the chapter of procession. Sorry, perception. I hope I'm clear. Anybody has any doubt, you can ask. Was it clear, guys?
Pooja,
Yes.
Can you please come up with the illusion lay, different types of an illusion once again with the real-time examples as well?
Yes, yes. You want me to repeat the three types of illusion?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, molar layer illusion is when illusion, on the left hand side bottom corner, the three lines, the top three lines looks like as if one is short, one is bigger, another one is again as an arrow. But when you see the next figure, we can see that all the three lines are of the same length. It is the arrow which is giving us an illusion that one line is shorter, another line is bigger.
Okay.
The second one is because the moon is down, it looks like as if the moon is closer.
Hmm.
It always looks like the moon is across the mountain, whereas it is actually quite far away. It is at the same distance where it is there on top of the sky when it is straight, right? On
Okay.
full moon, the moon will be on our head. Whereas when it is when the moon is going down, it looks like as if it is becoming bigger and bigger. So this is what was moon illusion. And the second one is illusion of motion. If you look at the last right hand side bottom picture, if you continuously look at that picture, continuously keep looking at the picture without blinking your eyes, and then look towards whatever table or wall you have, look towards the wall, you will figure out that the eyes are creating the same illusion
Hmm.
because it is in a moving motion.
Okay.
Okay, so that is what is about illusion of motion.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you. So the next chapter comes as the processing of perception. So far we have understood what
Excuse
is
me.
perception. Yes, tell me.
For the previous thing about overlap, no, ma'am.
Yeah.
I think perception, no.
Yes.
For that, we can take like when we are looking at the trees, the first tree which is closer to us, we can see it clearly, and
Correct.
the tree which is behind it, we can see only parts of the tree. So by that, we can conclude that this is behind this tree, and
Correct.
as the tree which is behind, we won't be able to see the trees clearly. So that we can take it as an example, no, for
Yes. Yes.
overlapping.
Exactly. Exactly. Overlapping. Thank you so much, Janira. Thank you so
Yeah,
much, Janira. You helped me out in that. So
yeah,
yes, exactly. That is what is overlapping. When the same size and shape figure is covering the behind image, right? Like you would have seen in a lot of these dance performances, shape of that particular stimuli, which is a tree. Okay. Next comes as the stimulus on the receptor, which is a specialized cell to detect stimuli. So receptors are basically a particular cell which detects what is a stimuli. So when the person focuses on a tree, it immediate surrounding on the receptor of his or her retina, and the tree transforms into a larger on retina. As I told you, if you see a tree full of flowers or full of fruits, your focus or your receptors will make you see to that particular tree more comparing to the rest of the trees. So that is what is the stimulus on the receptor. Next one. Next comes as the electricity. Electricity, it is a central principle of perception, which is based on the electrical signals in our nervous system, which are created in the receptor, which are cells, which transforms energy in form environment into electricity. This is called as transduction. That is one form of energy into another. For example, when you go to an ATM machine, you put a withdraw button, right? You press the withdraw button with what? You press it with the finger. That press changes into electrical energy, and that causes the mechanical energy. The money will come out, which the machine will do, and our hand, the thumb and the probably the index finger will pull the money out from the ATM machine. That is what is a electricity. Next comes as a transmission. For example, transmission is basically a tree image, electrical signal, activates other neurons more and more, and their signals from eyes are transmitted into brain. This step is important as signals has to reach to the brain if not there in the perception. So basically, when we the neurons which are already active, they give the signals to the other organs in our body to act according to the stimuli. Next comes as the processing. Processing, which happens with the retina. Retina will transfer the information to the brain. The neurons, which is also in intersection between neurons, for example, cell phone. When we say a hello to the cell phone, the voice signals changes into electrical signals, then relay by our tower, which transforms it into the sound from that signal and receives to the same as it was sent. Otherwise, the same hello will not sound as hello. It might sound something else. So this transformation between receptors and the brain is achieved by the neural process. Next one. No, before one. Yeah. As you can see in this, the man is looking at the image, at the tree, at the tree. So what he is looking at the tree will become the environmental stimulus. Light, which is reflecting and transformed, which is the second one. Then receptor processing. So the brain cells, the cells in the eye are processing the information to the brain that this particular picture looks like what. So then comes the neural processing. It processes in the brain to decide what particular object it is. And then we decide on the perception. We can recognize it that it is a tree. If it is closer, we can recognize it with what tree it is, whether it is banyan tree or it is mango tree. So that recognition happens over there, and then we react on it, and then we take the action on it, which is the decision about what type of stimuli or what type of tree it is. Am I clear? Next one. Now comes the approaches to study perception. So there are two psychological approaches. First is psychological approach, which was introduced by the Gustav Fenner, a psychiatrist, and referred to the use of quantitative method to measure relationship between stimuli and perception. Okay, stimuli and perception. He wanted to understand how they are correlated. There are two patches of colors of the same or different. So this will basically, there are, when we see the colors, there are lighter colors, there are different shades of colors. For example, if it is blue color, blue can come into different shades. It is this particular uh, quality or method, which is a quantitative method, which helps us to recognize whether it is dark blue, light blue, sky blue, or navy blue. All right. The next, the next comes as the psychological approach, which is measuring the relationship between the stimuli and the psychological process, and the relationship between psychological process and the perception. Frankly speaking, I did not understand this.
Ma'am, there is a actually a spelling mistake also.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, psychosis, physiological process.
Physiological, yeah.
Sorry. It's actually physiological approach. It's
Yeah,
not psycho. First is a psychological approach. Second is a physiological approach.
Yes, it's a two process actually.
Two
One is
processes.
physiological,
Yes.
psychophysical. Yeah, yeah.
But frankly speaking, I did not understand that. So I cut short everything and I have presented. But I did not understand this particular thing. The figure was also there. If somebody can read it out and can share, will be good. Because it's not much. There is a figure on page number 179. So this particular part I did not understand. So I'll give you time. You guys read it, and if somebody can explain, will be good. Which the eye is seen. Whereas humans solve this problem by moving to a different viewpoint and by using their past knowledge and experience. So, for example, a person is very good in his traveling skills. So, if you take his knowledge and his experience, that particular person will be giving you exact roadmap on how to go, where to stop, what to eat, what to see in that particular place, because he has got his own experience in the particular field and knowledge. All right. Next comes as the objects can be hidden or blurry. So this problem occurs where anytime when one object is unclear about another object. This happens frequently in the environment by people understanding that it exists, and with these knowledge of environment, they determine what is it likely to be present. Say, for example, none of us have seen the actual gods. Can be Jesus, can be Allah, or can be any Hindu god. But we have a particular image which is blurry, which is hidden, which is either there or not there. But we are all praying to one particular thing, which we name it as God. Can be anything, right? So that is what is a object can be hidden and blurry. Objects looks different from different viewpoint. That is, object viewed from different angles, as the image of the object are continuously changing and is making the perception more complex. For example, I showed you that complex figure in the previous chapter. Caroline, can you go at the last
Ground image, right?
yeah, the not this one, previous
this one.
previous one.
It is in the
Just
second slide of the
end of the 10th chapter, just before the 9th. Yeah, no, you went down. Next. Yeah, this one. So here, if you can see this right hand side, extreme right hand side image, if you look at continuously without blinking, it looks like the colors of the image is going 3D. It's coming close, going back. You can make out that it is a 3D image. Whereas It is a picture, it is not a graphic, but the color, the shape, the size is creating that illusion that it is in a moving shape. Coming back to the same one, next comes as the attention. Next.
I just want to add one more.
Yes,
All
tell me.
this can be hidden or blurred.
Hmm.
While we perceiving an image, okay, you said as you when you're walking into a
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am. Can I add one more thing?
Yes, yes, please.
Like when the bird is standing, when we look at a bird going behind a tree,
Mm-hmm.
and we can see only a part of the bird, like
Hmm.
maybe the tail or something. We
Hmm.
know that the same bird which we saw actually is behind the tree.
Hmm.
But since we are not able to see the bird fully, we know that the bird is there.
Correct,
Maybe.
correct. Yes, yes.
And the
All. Hmm.
other thing is like a person looking at a mountain from different angles. Now, I would have taken an image from the front, and
Hmm.
another person might have taken a picture from the other side. We
exactly,
all
exactly.
we
Correct.
All
all
you
can
perceive
conclude that it is, yeah, it is
Two
the same
different things.
mountain,
Huh.
but I saw it from a different angle,
Different
and they are
angle.
seeing it
True,
from other.
true.
so
Exactly.
the other image of yours will become blurred or hidden.
Hmm.
So
Correct.
what you have perceived is becomes a clear picture.
Correct. Hmm. That's right. So now coming to the attention topic, why we pay attention to a specific thing in environment. As we were just discussing about the mountain picture or about the bird. So we are correctly on that particular point which we were discussing earlier. Attention. Attention because you were focused about that one particular bird which you liked. As Caroline and Caroline said, she liked a particular bird and her eyes were moving and looking for that particular bird. So in this, there are it will happen that attention happens because of 6 reasons. So let's read about the reason. First thing is perceiving the environment. That is divided attention occurred in our everyday life. For example, while driving on a road, we need to be attentive to the car on the sides, the traffic signals, the pedestrians, person sitting and talking with us, and occasionally glancing on the rear mirror, right? That is how we drive. There are limited attention depending on our main interest, which is so while driving a car we need to focus more attention on driving, but along with the driving we are focusing on multiple aspects which I just mentioned. So that is the reason why the attention gets divided. Next comes as selective attention, like eye movement. We pay attention to things that are not directly on our line of vision and also can look directly at something without paying attention. For example, reading a book, but not the idea on what you just read, as you were not paying attention. Like it happens mostly in the schools when the teacher is teaching a lesson and she sees that one particular child or a student is not paying attention. He or she might be busy drawing something, scribbling something on their book. So but the teacher is able to focus where she has to focus on all the 45 to 50 students. So she is able to do that attentiveness to figure out which person or which student is paying attention or which is not paying attention. Next one. Stimulus salience. This means characteristics of the environment. As I told you, in the garden or in the forest, you will see it all depends on the color, brightness, contrast, right? Because it all depends which color you like, what brightness or what contrast is soothing for your eyes. For example, on the Christmas tree with the red balloons or something that stands out is like on Christmas tree we put lot of things. We put bells, we put balls, we put small and big things. But whatever is the big thing, our attention will go over there. Or whatever is the brightest thing, probably a star, our attention will go over there, right? So it all depends on the characteristics of the environment. Knowledge about scenes that often found it's certain types of scenes, for example in kitchen or in college campus or in shopping malls. Your knowledge about where things are usually found. Like if you are hungry in a mall, you know where to go, right? You will straight away go to the food court which is on the third or the fourth floor. What is that? That is your knowledge about that mall. Next comes as the nature of observer's task. This depends on the task override factors like stimulus saliency, whether a person making peanut butter sandwich with the eye movements that bangs on plates. When a person is making peanut butter sandwich, his eyes will be going all around because his brain is telling, I need bread, I need jar, I need knife, I need spread. So his focus will be divided into multiple places, which he likes, because his motive is to make peanut butter sandwich. Next one. Next comes as the learning from the past experience. So if a person has learned that key component, this will help him to direct attention to objects. For as I told you, because the person likes to eat peanut butter sandwich, he will know where what particular thing is there. Unlike if he doesn't like something, maybe the particular thing is right in front of them, but he will not be able to figure it out that it is right in front of him or her. So that all depends on their past experience and their interest. The role of the role of attention and perception. Attention is a major mechanism, that is how attentive you are. It plays a major role of perception, but still we can take information from where we are not focusing our attention. Like for example, when children go to the school, they don't like, not many of them, not everybody likes studying. Their more focus will be when the play period will come, or when the other subject period will come which he or she is liking it most. So their attention is divided. So it all depends upon their likings and dislikings. Inattention blindness. There is inattentional blindness, which is, it is a failure to perceive a stimulus that isn't attended even if it is of full view. As I told you, sorry, as I told you, a particular thing, like it happens with me and my husband, he will be asking me, where is the scissor in the kitchen? And I can see it because I spend the majority of the time over there. It is right in front of him, but for him, it is not visible because his interest is not there, because he is expecting me to come and give it. So that is what is, we call it as a blindness, inattentional blindness. He is not paying that attention. So it provides when observer and attending one sequence or event that can fail to notice other events even though it's right in front, as I told you. For example, here I have put a gorilla dress person. So there is a gorilla dressed a person who is dressed in a gorilla. Everybody knows that the original or the real gorilla cannot come, but still they will get scared. Suddenly, when the gorilla faces some stranger, the stranger will get scared because he or she is not expecting a gorilla in a theme park or in a game field. So these things are right in front of you, but at times you fail to see it. All right, next one. So there is the second change in blindness. People at times have trouble to detect the change, even though it is obvious where to look. It is basically difficult to detecting change. Finding a similarities, as I told you, finding a similarities. Some people are very good because they know in the picture when you have to find out the difference between two picture, they because of their past experience and their knowledge, they know that they don't have to look into the bigger shape or size in the picture. They need to figure out in the smaller or hidden things or hidden objects in the picture, which could make out the difference between two pictures. Enhancement of perception. So, in this, William James, he is the father of American psychology, said attending to a stimuli makes it more clear and vivid. That means information processing is more where attention is directed and result is faster response. That is why most of the children, why we all think that our child is not good enough in studies or one particular child is very good, because of their attention. All children are special, all children are unique. It is just their attention which might be divided into various different directions. So it's just that we need to bring their attention to one particular thing which is important at that particular time. Next one. Thank you so much.